place San Diego Padres are in Mexico this weekend. Here to tell us more is legendary sports broadcaster Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Lee, good morning. We got so much to get to.
Jason, how are they doing this? First of all, the Padres did not play last night, travel day, Mexico City, play the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Tour late this afternoon. Don't spill your coffee this morning. Look at the standings. How are they doing this? The Padres are in first place with all these issues. Story one, just signing free agent pitcher Lucas Giolito, former Red Sox, White Sox, Washington National. It's an insurance policy acquisition after A.J. Preller had bought all these lottery tickets with all the other pitchers who are struggling. Item two, look at the statistics. They're in first place with a substandard batting average. They've only hit 18 home runs this season. El Nino, Fernando Tatis, no home runs in 25 games. Machado's batting average, Merrill's batting average, Castellanos' batting average, Cronenworth's batting average, horrible. And they're in first place. Now, Padres are rolling right now. They've won 12 of their last 14. When they come out of this Mexico trip, they get the Cubs here. Cubs roll into town with a 10-game winning streak. But the Padres play 10 of their next 13 at home at Petco, which is a crazy place. At this point in time, the Dodgers are scuffling. They blew another game last night. The Padres are red hot. Pay attention. Enjoy this. This is really impressive, but how are they doing this with this refugee starting rotation they have, the injuries to the pitching staff, and nobody hitting in the batting order? It's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is. It is. Okay, let's move on to the NFL draft. Boy, there was a lot of activity.
Let's just talk about storylines. The three words I'd use to describe the draft are wow, what, and why. Wow, this is what happened at the top of the draft board. Fernando Mendoza goes to the Raiders as their future starting quarterback, the kid out of Indiana with the #1 pick. The New York Jets, in a bit of a surprise, took a great pass rusher, David Bailey, out of Texas Tech. Arizona made a strange decision. They got a great running back in Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, but they could have traded down, stockpiled a lot of picks because they need a lot of players, but they did not do that. The Giants under John Harbaugh go get Arvell Reese, the great blitz linebacker, Ohio State. Washington got the great linebacker Sonny Styles from Ohio State. And you may not like Jerry Jones, but he got Ohio State's superb safety Caleb Downs. Dallas has done very well in the draft. Those are the hot commodity guys at the top of the board. Who had the best drafts? The worst drafts in the NFL through 3 rounds. Rounds 4 through 7 will be today. Well, the Jets, by wheeling and dealing, as awful as the Jets are, they wound up with 3 first-round draft picks. They got a defensive end, the best tight end in the draft, and a speed wide receiver. The Giants are going to flip this roster under Harbaugh. They're continuing to build. Dallas adds 2, led by Caleb Downs defensively. You take what Washington drafted yesterday, add it to what they did in free agency, Washington's rebuilt its defense. Those were the good ones. Kansas City, I don't understand this at all. They have needs everywhere. They reached for a cornerback that they could have gotten in the late 20s. They drafted him really early, made no sense to me at all. And then with their second first-round pick, they took a defensive tackle late in the first round who's a classic underachiever. I don't know what Kansas City is doing. And in Pittsburgh, where the draft was held, boy, the fans were not happy. The Steelers drafted an offensive tackle when they needed a wide receiver, and then late in the draft yesterday, Pittsburgh drafted Penn State's quarterback Drew Allar, who's got a history of injury. That's your quarterback of the future? Really? So we got all that. Let's talk about what's happened out here on the West Coast. Surprise, LA Rams, Tyler Simpson. Good quarterback, only started 1 year. This was a reach. He was the 49th ranked player on the draft board, and the Rams took him at 13. Chargers had a tough decision to make. They desperately need offensive linemen, but 7 linemen were picked before the Bolts choice came up. They wound up taking a really good defensive end out of Miami, but second, third round, they didn't take an offensive tackle, did not take an offensive guard. I don't understand what Joe Ortiz is doing. End of the day, the Chargers' offensive line at this hour is worse than the offensive line they had last year. So that's where we are with the summary of the National Football League draft. The Rams pick was a bit of a surprise. Thought you were going to win now. Don't you need a wide receiver? Instead, you drafted for the future, which was really strange.
Yeah, but you're right. Dallas hit it out of the park with that Ohio State safety.
He is superb.
He is a leader. Okay, let's go to the playoffs, NHL, NBA.
Let's talk about what's going on your TV. How about the Lakers? The old dogs did it last night. The Lakers blew an 11-point lead, came from behind, found a way to do it. LeBron James saved the game with a three-point basket with 13 seconds to go in regulation to tie it. And then his fellow running mate, another old dog, 36-year-old Marcus Smart, hit a three-point shot on OT and then 5 free throws in a row. All that while Houston was self-destructing. Houston had a 6-point lead, lost it. Houston went 4 possessions in a row at the end of the game, did not score a basket. The Lakers lead the series 3-1. And while the Lakers were celebrating, Houston's coach, Ime Udoka, came apart at the seams in the postgame press conference. He just ripped his team apart. He ought to rip himself. He's done just a terrible job. And from basketball, let's talk hockey. Pay attention to what's going on in Anaheim. The Anaheim Ducks have beaten the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid the last 2 games they've played. The Ducks lead the series 2-1. Do you believe this? Edmonton got shelled last night 7-4. This is an Oiler team with the legendary Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the great goal scorers. It's an Oilers team with garbage goaltending. And the Ducks kids, rookies, they got 12 players that have never been in the playoffs. They scored 2 goals in 42 seconds last night, scored 4 goals in the third period. The Ducks lead 2-1, and they could put Edmonton behind the 8 ball if they win tomorrow on home ice. And I'll tell you, it's like an asylum in Anaheim. The fans are losing their minds. NHL playoffs have just been spectacular.
All right. Another week of the books. Can't wait till next Saturday.
When you need to know, we got the info.
Yes, we do. All right, Lee.
Have a great sports weekend.
You too. You too.